Hello students, today we will learn more on parasitology. In last lecture, we have gone through various terms of parasitology such as host, parasite, vectors. So let's try to reconnect what these terms were and how it will be helping us in the study of the further chapter. The terms which we have seen in the last lecture, the first one, parasite. Parasite can be defined as any living organism. It can be a microbe, it can be a fungus, it can be a plant or any animal which derives food and shelter from other living organisms. For example, we have leeches and mosquitoes. The other term that we have studied about is host. Host is any living organism which harbors the parasite. That is, it is the medium which will provide food and shelter to the parasite and support their growth and reproduction. For example, pond snails as well as human beings. The last term that we had seen in the last lecture is vector. Vector is a kind of an agent which helps transmitting this disease from one host to the another. It acts like a vehicle transporting the parasite from one particular area to another. They carry parasites from one host to another and help them to continue their life cycle. The examples of mechanical vector are cockroaches and housefly, and biological vectors are mosquitoes. Moving forward to the next part of the chapter, host-parasite relationship. When we are talking about host and parasite, these two organisms, when they have to live together or when the parasite is dependent for its living on the host, it has to follow few rules or there has to be some modifications that we will be looking into. It has to be a host specific. Each parasite has a specific host and there is a pattern in how it is going to select its host. Talking about host specificity, the parasites are very specific, rather highly specific in selecting their host. They invade only those which can provide them proper nutrition and suitable environment. Intercellular parasites, such as plasmodiums, attack specific type of live host cells only. The receptors and availability of cell factors needed for viral reproduction in the host cell is one of the main factors to be taken care of. Moving further, we will be talking about the structural specificities. The structural incompatibility of parasite may result into death of the parasite. Thus, structural modifications help the parasite to invade the host successfully. For example, mosquitoes. They have powerful maxillae and mandibles for piercing and sucking the host blood. Here we have a picture which can be seen by you all. Here is the mandible and maxillary. These mandible and maxillary help to pierce inside the body. That is, like a needle, it will get inserted into the skin of the host, and later on, with the help of the papillae, that is the tongue for the mosquito, it will start sucking the blood from the host animal. Here we have a small video which you can see for the piercing and sucking structural modifications in mosquito. You can see how the mandibles and maxillae help the labrum to get inside, and later on it can easily suck the blood from the host animal body. And the second example is hookworm. It develops extensible buccal mass with 6 chitinous teeth inside to suck food. These hookworms, when they enter into the body of the host animal, these chitinous teeth also help them to remain attached to the body, internal body of the host animal, and to retrieve whatever food is available for them for to feed on it. Moving to the next part, the physiological specificities. Many parasites undergo specific physiological changes such as chemical changes. They will secrete some enzymes that is required so that they can survive inside the body of the host animal. For example, the tapeworms, they secrete mucus to protect them from the action of digestive juices. Now, These tapeworms, which are found as a parasite in the body of humans, they normally survive in the small intestine of the human beings. So whatever digestive juices is going to come near the small intestine, it can create a problem for the tapeworm. So for its protection, it will secrete mucus and it will keep this mucus wrapped around its body so that it can be saved from the digestive juices. These are known to secrete anti-enzymes to neutralize the digestive enzymes of the host. Other example is leech and mosquitoes. They secrete anticoagulants to prevent blood clotting. Here is an example. You can see in the first picture, the leech is trying to suck the blood. During doing so, the blood which enters into the body, normally the blood has a property, whenever it is being removed from any human or any animal, it will start getting coagulated. Okay, it will start curdling. Thus, these leeches and mosquitoes, which feed on the blood of the organism, they have these anticoagulants which help them for this blood to remain in the liquid stage and stop them from curdling. Ecological specificities. The origin of parasitism is largely based on ecological grounds. The parasite and host relationship depends on parallel evolution in host and parasites in given ecological conditions. For example, children are affected by ectoparasites of pet animals like cat and dog, which they are in close contact. Second is liver fluke. Liver fluke are parasites of sheep, but as a natural consequence, they are capable of infecting different grazing animals and man also. We are going to study about the parasitic adaptations. When we talk about these parasites, they have to adapt themselves so that they can survive in the host organism. It is believed that animal parasites must have been originated from variation in feeding habitat or accidental or sudden exposure to new environment like digestive tract of higher animals, blood, tissues of the vertebrates. Parasitic adaptations are structural or it can be physiological modification of the parasite with respect to their environment. These adaptations impart survival values to the parasite by enabling them to lead successful parasitic life against the defense system of the host animal. Parasitic adaptations in ectoparasite. Mostly ectoparasite visit host temporarily, so they are not modified much as compared to the endoparasites, which means these parasites will just stay for a while on the host and then they just take off from the host and maybe they will go and find some another host. For example, mosquitoes, they will be just wandering around the host, they will suck the blood for a while and they will just fly off. They exhibit specific adaptation to their respective host. They undergo changes to support their feeding habitat and provide them defense against host. Ectoparasites are known to possess hooks, claws, suckers and spines or even bristles so that they can attach themselves firmly to the host. For example, we have been seeing about many such organisms which will be adapting themselves so that they can easily feed on the animal as well as they can defend the host when it tries and attacks it. Talking about these adaptations in ectoparasite, the first adaptation that we want to go through is nutrition. Ectoparasites either feed on blood or subcutaneous tissue of the host. For example, we have learned about mosquitoes and bedbugs. These animals, they suck blood. So their mouth parts are in such a way that so that they can puncture the skin of the host and suck the blood. So it is a piercing and sucking type of mouth part. They pour saliva containing anticoagulant inside the site of injury. It causes more inflammation so that more blood will rush to the sucking area. Leeches are scangivores in feeding habitat which secretes anticoagulant named as hirudin. Hirudin will help the blood to remain in the anticoagulant form and will be digested or will be taken by the leeches. The itching mites feed upon subcutaneous tissue to form safe place to lay their eggs. The second adaptation is organ of attachment. Annelid ectoparasite Hirudinaria bears anterior and posterior suckers which enable them to get firmly attached to the host skin. Human head lice clings to the hair with help of their modified legs ending into claw. Parasitic insects are well protected by their bristles and spines derived from cuticle. The itching mites also bear legs with long bristles. Moving to the next type of adaptation, that is rate of reproduction. It is said that ectoparasites like ticks may reproduce by parthenogenesis. What is parthenogenesis? It is development of unfertilized eggs into young one under the influence of environmental factor. So female alone can produce next generation without the involvement of males. Both bedbug or lice have more egg laying capacity. Bedbug lays about 75 to 500 eggs, while body louse, or you can say the head louse, lays around 200 to 300 eggs in their shortest lifespan. With this, we are done for today, and in our next lecture, we will learn about adaptations in the endoparasites. Thank you.